So you're gonna unpack and see these nuts and bolts in a wrapped in plastic. So just pull those out and put them to the side. That's the first piece of equipment you're going to start with. So you're gonna see these ratchets strapped onto the flight cases. What you're gonna do with these is you're going to stack one of the pieces on top of the other piece, and you're going to see two holes on the horizontal bars. You want to align those two holes, and you're going to insert the nut, or excuse me, insert the screw vertically into those holes, and it will look like this. So as you can see here, I'm pushing the screw and the washer down, and then after it's down, I'm going to get the bolt and I'm going to screw the bolt in as tight as I can. You can use your hand and it should be this tight. Don't worry about the size of the bolt or the screw, and it should look, both of them should look like this. So they're going to be tall pieces that are attached through the bottom. So when you pull out the panels, you're going to see these covers that are covering the corners. These are just there to protect the corner pixels, because those are the ones that get damaged the most while during travel. So all you have to do is flip them back. There's one on each corner, so you're just going to flip each one, and yep, just make sure they're back. They're flipped, all sides are flipped back, or else you're going to have some issues when you're building the wall. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the two double panels as close as I can together, so they are almost touching. So you want them as close as possible so they're almost touching each other, and that's where we're going to start building the wall. So you want to get these two panels as close as you can lined up. So there's a very, very small seam right now. You're going to go to the back. This red plunger has to be up, in the up position, and then you're going to push this through, and then you'll see a little thing come through right here. And then you're going to turn it. Either way, you're going to turn it until you feel it lock in place right there. So it's locked in that mechanism, and then you're going to get the plunge, and then you're going to push it down with good force, and you're going to give it some oomph. And you're going to do that with both. So I just did that with that one. I'm lifting up the red, pushing in. I see that plunge thing. I turn it. It's stuck in place. And then you're going to push this down to the point where it doesn't go down any further. And that locks the two panels in place. After you've finished with attaching these two panels together, we're going to start officially building the wall. These are the next pieces we're going to use. We're going to use this bracket. We're going to use the vertical mount that you attached earlier, and you're also going to use this screw right here. So you're going to use these brackets to attach one side on the left, and you're going to interchange one side on the right. So as you go up, you're going to go right, then left. The next one's going to go right. The next one's going to go left. You're going to use this piece right here to put on the bottom, and you're going to plant it right here like that, like so, and you're going to put the 45-pound weight right on top as a counterbalance for the panels. So now this system isn't going to go anywhere. So this is the first panel, second panel, third panel that's not connected yet. We're going to connect that. We're going to, like I said, we're going to put them as close as possible so there's a very little seam. We're going to go to the back. 1, 2, 3, same concept. The plunge is up top. Make sure that these are on 0. You're going to push, and then you'll see the little gizmo up there. You're going to turn it so it's horizontal. Then you're going to push down to where it's really snug. Same thing down here. We're going to put the plunger up, push in, turn it so it's horizontal, and we're going to push down to where it's snug, and it's at 0 degrees. Gotta make sure. And now that is a connected panel. One other thing to note you'll see this metal piece sticking out, and there's a hole on this side. So to make it easy, you want to line this to make sure it goes into this hole, and there's the same concept at the bottom. So we're going to line it. We're going to go in the hole like that, and that should be squared. So we're going to again plunger up, push in, turn, and we're going to push all the way down to where it's snug. And then same concept on this side. We're going to up, push, turn, and down. So this is the whole bottom layer completed. This is 6 panels. So what we did was just combine them all, make sure the plunger's down, and then we're gonna mirror it. So that one, the first and second panel has this fixture as the vertical fixture, and now the 5th and 6th panel will have the vertical fixture. Same concept, we're gonna have one bolt on one side, and then we're gonna interchange another bolt on that side, and it's not gonna go anywhere. So you're also gonna put the weight, we're about to put the weight on this one, so that way there's no way of it to fall forward, and there's no way it's gonna fall to the side, and there's no way it's gonna fall backwards. So onto the second row, if you see right here and right here, there's holes that go right here and right here. So you're gonna line that up, and you're going to put them right on top to where they fall into place. And then you're gonna see the same structure as these, but on this side, on the top. So we're gonna make sure they're all the way to the left. We're gonna push up until you hear that click, and then you're gonna turn and make sure that there's tension here. Same on this side, we're gonna go up, make sure there's a click, and we're gonna turn. You're gonna make sure that there's tension. If there's no tension, that means it's misaligned, and you're gonna have to redo that part. But that's about it. And then this is now attached to the bottom, and then we're just gonna repeat the same steps earlier and go all the way down. So for the second panel and the following panels, it might be tricky to get them into these holes. One way to fix that is to loosen this and go all the way down, and that'll alleviate some tension right here. And then after these are attached at the bottom, after they're in the holes, we're gonna put this back to 0 degrees, and we're gonna close. We're gonna put this one back. See, it's not going all the way. That means there's something stuck up and it's fixed. And then we're gonna close. So always make sure that these are closed and this is at 0 degrees. So one more time, again, we're just gonna put them all the way out to -15 so we can line up the bottom. And then once they're in at the bottom, we're gonna push it back so this goes right into the hole. And if it's not, you gotta kind of wiggle it until it aligns, and you're just gonna push it in, and now it's at 0 degrees. We're gonna close it, and we're gonna close it, and then we're just gonna follow the same steps. Push in, turn, push down, push in, turn, and push down. For extra security, we're gonna, from the first to the second, we already have one here. We're gonna do the same thing on the top. It's gonna be on the same side. And then we're gonna do the same concept up on the top row. So this is what the full video wall looks like.
I just want to stop right here and explain that the top row is the single panels, and then the first and second row are the double panels. So you want to make sure that you're starting your build with the double panels for the first row and the second row, and then you're going to top the third row off with just a single panel. So that's very important. Make sure you build to that standard.
When it's completely set up, and here's what the back looks like. So as you can see, The bottom is bracketed on one side on the right, and then the middle is bracketed on the left side. We're gonna put a second bracket right here in a bit, just like this. The top is bracketed, so this isn't going anywhere. One thing to note, all of the ones that are horizontal, they should be pointing right, and they should be up, attached to up here, as noted earlier. So they should all be pointed right. If you see any that's left, that means they haven't been bracketed in. Okay, so here's a perfect example. These aren't pushed in, even though they are right. So you just gotta push up and turn. Same thing here, push up and turn. Make sure there's tension. Just like that. We're doing a double check, making sure they're all correct. Good. Now, the next thing we gotta check is, are all the plungers, except the ones on the side, are all the plungers pointed down? So those are, we're looking at these right here. They're pointed down. These are all pointed down. Pointed down. So we're just doing a final check to make sure that they're all connected, and they should all be good. So the next stage is wiring. Okay, these are your standard Cat 6 cables, or excuse me, they're Cat 5. These are your standard Cat 5 cables. These are going to be connected to the wall, and this is what's going to send data from the computer to the wall. So here's the back of the wall. We're going to plug in the Cat 5 cables right at the bottom here, as you can see right there. So the first panel right here, that's going to be the plug on the right side is going to be left blank, because that is what's going to be plugged into the computer. So right here is going to be left blank. We're going to start on this one right here, and that one is going to go to the next one, and that one's going to go to the next one. So it's going to be daisy chained all the way across, and then we're going to have a cable go from this one, and it's going to go up to this one up top, and it's going to go same concept, go all the way across, and then up, and then all the way across. So there are multiple Cat 5 cables. They're all the same. The only difference is the length. So these are the these are the pretty long ones, and these are good for going from one panel up to the second panel. The ones that are standard are a little bit smaller. So to compare, this is the size of one, and this one's the size of the other. So they're a little different, not a big deal. If they seem a little too long, that means you're probably using the wrong size cable. So this is what it should look like when you daisy chain all the black Cat 5 cables together. Goes up, now to the side, and it goes up, and it goes to the side, just like that. Next, we're doing power cables. This is what the power cables look like. So again, same concept. We're going to leave the first one blank, because that's what's going to go to the wall, and we're going to start on the second one. So it's a simple thing. You just align these two plastic pieces into the holes, and then you're going to turn until you hear click, just like that. And you're going to do that to the very next one. And one thing to note, very, very important, the panels that are double the size, so these versus those, the panels that are double the size only can go 6 across in terms of power. So we're going to go 6 across, and we're going to stop right here. Then we're going to have a second opening. So this one is going to this side is going to go to a wall. It's going to go to an outlet, and then this one's going to get powered all down. And then the top ones will need a third outlet. So we're going to need 3 outlets total. So each row is going to need its own outlet. So as you can see, all 3 panels, or all 3 rows, have a blank on one side, and they're going all the way across, and they're not being daisy chained up and down. So this side also is blank. So we're gonna have 3 outlets, or sorry, 3 cables going to outlets. So this is what a completed wall looks like. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 going out to outlets. So all 3 rows are being powered by individual outlets. Another thing to note is they're not connected on this side at all. They just end here. All the Cat 5 cables are connected. And again, you're gonna start at either corner, either bottom corner. Just start at either one. And this is what a completed wall looks like. All right, so as far as plugging it into the computer and into the processor, you're gonna grab the Cat 6, and it's gonna go this is a long Cat 5 cable, excuse me, and it's gonna go straight into output. Sorry, one second. It's gonna go straight into output 1. Output 1. We'll leave it in there so you don't have to worry about remembering that. And then the HDMI will go straight into your computer. And then obviously this is just for power. And then you won't have to worry about this one just yet. Hopefully you don't have to worry about that one. So all you have to worry about is getting the Cat 5 cable into output 1, and then your HDMI going into your computer, and making sure that HDMI cable is connected. Right now the brightness is very low, but this is what it'll look like. We have the brightness very low at this point. So this is what the processor looks like. What you're gonna do after you plug it in is you're gonna turn it on, and then you can tell that it's working. Well, first off, you see that HDMI blinking, which means it's not connected yet. Your screen will turn off and turn back on, and if that HDMI is blinking, and you'll see it's staying on, that means it's connected, and then you can see the panels turning on. So what you do to make it brighter, you click this menu button, click brightness, and then you're just going to turn it up to whatever you want, however brightness you want. We're just going to keep it low for now, just to save the battery, or just to save the screen. And if you see the screen all jumbled, you just have to, we'll start from the beginning. You click the button, you're gonna go down to advanced settings, and you're gonna go to pre-settings, and it's either gonna be 1 or 2. So if the first one doesn't work, it's gonna be the second one. If the second one doesn't work, it's gonna be the first one. As long as you daisy chain the Cat 5 cables starting from the bottom and going up and then up, it should work. So if you started it from this side, or if you started it from this side, that'll depend, that'll make the difference on what presetting you use. But as long as you did either side starting from the bottom, it should work. Just make sure that the double panels, the bigger ones, you start with those and just go to row 2 with them, and then only the top row should be the smaller panels. Just the top row. Alright, so teardown is going to be a pretty simple process. What you're going to do first is you're just going to remove these power cables that are going to the wall. I'll get that one right now. You're gonna remove these. So now there's no power going to anything. And then you're gonna go, you can start with power, it doesn't matter, but just start unplugging all the power cables. And then do the same thing with data. I'll start unplugging all the data cables. All right, so we took off all the power cables and all the Cat 5 cables, so now we just have a blank wall. We're gonna start from the top and essentially go opposite, but we're gonna go one at a time. We're not gonna try to do everything in one row. We're gonna go one at a time. We're just doing the exact opposite, so we're turning, and then we're pressing right here, and you'll see it come down. We're turning, pressing right here, and it comes down. Same thing up top, pulling up, and then turning here, and then it should come out, and then we're gonna do the same up there, and then that'll be completely loose, so be careful, and then just disassemble and put it back into the box. So you might have a tough time taking this out, and it's probably because of this. So we're just gonna open this. Remember, this is loose, so you gotta keep control. And we're just going to push that knob to make it go all the way out. Same thing on this side. We're going to push this knob. And now this should be completely loose. And let's check, let's see. Yep. So as you can see, I just took it down. It's right here. One other thing to add, after you break it down, make sure you put these clips back in there, back to its place. So they should be covering the corners. So that prevents any damages to the corner pixels while traveling. So we're gonna do it on all 4 sides. I haven't done it to the bottom yet, but the bottoms have it too.